In May 2004, the police in Taiyuan City, Shaanxi Province, encountered a man who came to report an incident with a woman. The woman, named Zhao Meiying, 25 years old, was small and thin, dressed fashionably, but pale, trembling all over, and unable to speak a complete sentence. After 30 minutes of encouragement from the police and her boyfriend, she finally confessed. "I killed someone. They forced me. They are ruthless murderers." Meiying revealed that the group of murderers consisted of 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman. She led the police to a tightly closed house in an old residential area. When Meiying knocked on the door, a man opened it slightly, cautiously looking around. As soon as he saw her glance to the side, he slammed the door shut and shouted, "The police are here! Run!" The police, who had been standing nearby, immediately broke down the door and stopped a female suspect who was about to jump out of the window, but the 2 men managed to escape. Inside the house, the police found a dismembered body in the kitchen, next to a barrel of acid. During interrogation, the female suspect identified herself as Li Chunlin, and the 2 fugitives as brothers Shen Changyin, 28, and Shen Changping, 20. Li Chunlin confessed that the group had lured and deceived many prostitutes to rob, murder, and dismember them over the past 6 months. The police immediately issued a wanted notice for Shen Changyin and Shen Changping. Through investigation, it was found that the Changyin and Changping brothers were from Huojia County, Henan Province. Changyin dropped out of school before completing middle school and was often involved in fights and associated with hooligans. In 1994, at the age of 19, Chang Yin was sentenced to 3 years in prison, with a 2-year suspended sentence for theft. In 1995, while still on probation, Chang Yin broke into a house and stole a gold necklace and 2 mobile phones valued at 12,940 yuan. Combining the 2 offences, Chang Yin was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Upon being released in 1999, he was again sentenced to 3 years for stealing a motorcycle. In 2002, Chang Yin completed his prison sentence. Hoping his son could find a job, Chang Yin's father withdrew all his savings, amounting to 40,000 yuan, around $5,600, and gave it to Chang Yin to take his younger brother Chang Ping to seek help from a relative who was running a business in Lanzhou City, Gansu Province. Chang Ping had also dropped out of school before finishing middle school and spent his days wandering aimlessly. Being lazy and fond of leisure, the 2 brothers quickly ran into losses in the auto parts business. However, Chang Yin, undeterred, continued to take Chang Ping to nightclubs and restaurants, spending all their money. With no money left to spend, Chang Ping suggested to his brother that they commit robbery to make quick cash or resort to kidnapping and extortion, followed by murder to eliminate witnesses. After discussing, Chang Yin decided that they would target bar girls, as these individuals' disappearances would go unreported, making it harder for them to be caught. In June 2003, the 2 brothers rented a house in Qilihe District, Lanzhou City. They learned that a prostitute named Dufang was staying in the same rental complex. On June 9th, the brothers lured Diofang to another rental room under the pretense of paying for sexual services. They then tied her up, beat her, and tortured her to extract the password for her bank card. After obtaining 32,000 yuan, around $4,500, Chang Yin and Chang Ping murdered Diofang. Fearing detection, they fled Lanzhou that very night and escaped to Baotou City, Inner Mongolia. There, they concealed their identities and frequently monitored news from Lanzhou. After a period of silence and having spent over 30,000 yuan, the brothers decided to find their next target. In January 2003, they lured Li Chunlin, an employee at a sauna, to their rental room. Finding only a small amount of money on Li Chunlin, the 2 brothers became enraged, beat her, and planned to kill her to cover their tracks. Terrified, Li Chunlin knelt and begged for her life, promising to help them lure wealthy prostitutes to them. Chang Yin and Chang Ping agreed to spare her. At the end of November 2003, Lee Chunlin lured a victim to the rental room. After robbing the victim of all her belongings, the two brothers forced Lee Chunlin to kill the victim so that she would not dare betray them. After committing the crime, all three used acid to destroy the body and disposed of it down the drain. From then on, Lee Chunlin became an accomplice to the murderous duo Chang Yin and Chang Ping, helping them lure prostitutes she had grudges against to the... In just 2 months, the trio had killed 3 victims. On one occasion, they almost got caught when a victim named Wang refused to reveal her bank card password, preferring death. After torturing her to no avail, the 3 tied her up and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, Wang managed to escape her bonds and jumped out of the window, but unfortunately hit her head upon landing and fell unconscious. Hearing the commotion, Chang Yin and Chang Ping quickly carried her back inside, killed her, and then... In 2004, while at a shopping mall in Taiwan, Lee Chunlin happened to see Zhao Meiying, a shoe stall owner, flipping through her savings book, which showed a balance of 90,000 yuan, about 12,700 USD. The trio saw me noticing that Meiying's stall had posted a notice of transfer. Lee Chunlin pretended to be interested in buying it to get closer to her. After meeting to discuss the price, Lee Chunlin claimed she didn't have money on hand and suggested that Meiying come to her place to collect it. Meiying, unsuspecting, followed her to the murderer's residence, where Chang Yin and Chang Ping rushed in, restrained, and tied her up. However, upon checking Meiying's savings book, they found only 9 yuan, about 1 USD, on her. Angry, Chang Yin slapped Lee Chunlin and threatened Meiying, demanding she bring someone wealthy as a replacement. To save her life, Meiying called Mrs. Lee, a woman who had previously expressed interest in buying her shoe stall. Meiying lied, saying she urgently needed money and would sell the stall to Mrs. Lee at a discounted price. When Mrs. Lee arrived at the agreed meeting place, Chang Yin and Chang Ping immediately tied her up and found 50,000 yuan, about 7,100 US dollars, on her. Chang Yin then wanted to kill both Meiying and Mrs. Lee, but Meiying cleverly lied, saying there was an additional 20,000 yuan, about 2,800 US dollars, hidden in her cabinet, and she was willing to give it to them. She swore she wouldn't report them to the police. Chang Yin agreed, but handed Meiying a knife, forcing her to kill Mrs. Lieutenant. After Meiying committed the act, Chang Yin and Chang Ping destroyed the body in front of her. After everything was done, Lee Chunlin was assigned to accompany Meiying to the shopping center to collect the money. There, Meiying's boyfriend noticed that she looked pale, so he pulled her aside to ask what was wrong, and then took her to the police station to report the crime. After the police raided and arrested Lee Chunlin, Chang Yin and Chang Ping fled overnight, passing through Shanxi and Anhui provinces before reaching Shijiazhuang in Hebei province. Along the way, in need of money, Chang Yin and Chang Ping continued to commit crimes and even recruited 2 other female accomplices. In August 2004, Chang Yin and Chang Ping rented a house in an apartment complex in Chaodong district, Shijiazhuang. Due to their repeated murders and disposal of bodies down the drain, the drainage system in the area frequently became clogged. When the maintenance crew attempted to unclog the drains, they discovered a large number of unidentified pieces of flesh. The water meter for the house rented by Chang Yin and Chang Ping also showed an unusually high water usage, far exceeding that of a normal household. However, instead of confronting them directly, the management secretly took photos of the suspicious findings and reported them to the police. Upon comparing their physical descriptions, the police suspected that the men were the wanted criminals, Chang Yin and Chang Ping. At around 5 p.m. on August 31st, a female police officer disguised as a building manager knocked on their apartment door. As soon as the door was slightly opened, the police rushed in, arresting both brothers and discovering a body inside the house. According to court records, Chang Yin and Chang Ping were responsible for 11 murders and disposed of the bodies in gruesome ways. They also committed 13 robberies, stealing property worth 130,000 yuan, around $18,500 US. On September 1st, 2005, Chang Yin and Chang Ping were sentenced to death. Li Chunlin was also sentenced to death for her involvement in 4 murders, having played an active role in several of the crimes. The death sentences for all 3 were carried out on April 27, 2006. Zhao Mei Ying, despite being involved in 1 murder, received a 3-year prison sentence due to her significant contribution by turning herself in. The other 2 female accomplices were sentenced to 20 years in prison. What do you think about today's case? Please leave your comments below so we can discuss it together. Don't forget to support us with a like and subscribe to the channel to motivate our team to bring more dramatic cases. And that concludes today's case. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching. Goodbye, and see you next time.